I'm Todd Callahan, a cancer survivor, retired CPA, and a licensed minister, and a teacher. I hope most people never have to go near the amount of stress and fear and pressure and just the things that I've had to go through. But I've gone through them, I'm still alive, so I think I have a reason to share it. Got married, had our first daughter at age 3 months old. She started to grow tumors on her back. As she grew, they grew at age 5. Had them removed. Moved to Idaho, they came back in the same place, only this time the doctor wouldn't take "I don't know" for an answer. He started to research it, discovered that I had the disease that she had inherited. So I went into the hospital at 35 years old, father of 3, I thought healthy, was declared with cancer and a genetic disease that I'd probably passed on to my 3 children. They took out the large colon. I went through several surgeries. By a year and a half into the journey and a 3rd surgery, they found a tumor underneath the heart. They couldn't take it out. They couldn't treat it. They sent me home to die. That tumor was supposed to grow and crush the heart, and I'd be home with Jesus. Instead, I've been here 10 years. I've outlived a battery and a pain pump. I've fought the disease. I had several surgeries. My children go through, 2 of them have the disease, 1 doesn't, and 1 we don't know yet. So it's been a family diagnosis. My wife's been a caregiver for 18 years for my daughter, for me, and for my middle son. And it's been a family diagnosis. First time Sarah went into the hospital, when people came to support us and to comfort us and to visit us, we found out that we actually ended up comforting them and encouraging them and raising them up. And then when it became my turn to get in the hospital bed and do that, I mean, we were amazed. Our pastor would come and they would tell us later, you know, I learned more visiting you. Here I came, I thought I was going to cheer you up and support Todd. He's in the hospital and not doing so good, and the tubes and the wires. But from that place of weakness, we actually could share and help people. And I think that it just was a natural thing that when you're weak, He is strong. You can never bless somebody and not be more blessed coming back. You know, it's impossible to outgive. And so it just was feedback from people saying, you know, I feel ministered to when I'm around you. You know, you really encouraged me, and the feedback. And the more it happened and the more I did it, it's like a cycle of growing. And then I heard the official call to ministry, which was interesting. A couple invited us to go to Phoenix as a vacation and give us a break from the kids. And when we got there, I discovered that there was a pastor's school in the same town. And I said, well, let's see if we can do the vacation and have a great vacation, but let's go to the pastor's school. Wouldn't that be great? We're here. And we did. And I was in the middle of this conference of 3,000 pastors. And I wouldn't let it. My wife kept saying, well, you're a pastor, you're a pastor. And I said, no, I'd fill out my form. It was just a layperson. I didn't feel like I was a pastor officially. And the last night of the conference, the teaching pastor had all the pastors it was a worship time, and just come to the front of an altar call. Just, if you want to dedicate, you know, just get recharged. And all these pastors went down front. So I went down front too. And they were some were praying, some were singing, some were crying, some were on their knees, some had their hands up. I mean, whatever you can imagine was happening. And I'm in the middle of this, and it wasn't an audible voice, but I heard, look around. So I looked around, and I heard, do you see any difference between them and you? I said, no, I'm down here too doing the crazy praying and singing and crying. And he said, look, you're just like a pastor. And I walked back from that altar call and told my wife, I feel called. I'm a pastor. I saw it, and that's my heart. And it's I love God and I love people. After the conference, I had heard this in my heart, and Anna Marie and I were walking to the car, and I had to stop her and stick out my hand and say, I'd like to reintroduce myself. I'm Pastor Todd. And that's how it began. Anytime there's someone there and we start to talk and they ask questions about my life because they I mention a cancer survivor or something triggers it, and then I just start to, it's like they've turned on a tap and it starts to flow out of me. And it's sometimes it's like getting a drink out of a fire hose, because it's just like, here, it's everything. Oh, you want to know about this? And it just starts running, and then I realize, oh, you just wanted a cup of water. I'm sorry about that. People try to do is they try to help, but they try to help without getting themselves muddy, bloody, or broke. And it's not the same. If you're going to help the hurting, you're going to get something on you. And the problem is, if you get stuff on you, other people might think it's you. They may think you went out and got bloody and dirty, or maybe you spent your money the wrong way. So you have to be willing to get down in the dirt with the people that need help, and then be confident enough to explain, no, this is my ministry, this is what needed to be done. But too often, I've said it's like a joke, we stand over here, the hurt person's over there, and we lob things at them. You need some money? Throw it over the wall. Or you need encouragement? Be blessed in the Lord. And clothes? We'll throw it over there. And that's good. That's a start, to at least do that. But to really heal the person and help the person, you're going to get messy. I think being declared terminal and sent home to die, you get real and you get honest quickly. Have you heard the one about the African AIDS worker, the starfish, and my trip to South Africa? I didn't think so. So let me share with you what happened when I went to South Africa to see what's going on in the missions field. When we were there, there's thousands and thousands of kids that need help. And we visited an orphanage and had the opportunity to sit down with an AIDS orphan worker who had been there about 3 years. And he expressed to us that he really was discouraged at that time, and he felt like it was just overwhelming. And he said, it's just so defeating. I come to the orphanage and I help these kids, but I get in my car and I drive by thousands and thousands and thousands, and I think, am I making any difference here? And I said, well, have you heard the story about the starfish? And he said, no. And I said, oh, great, let me tell you. There was a storm, and the storm washed all these starfish up along this beach. Thousands, millions, it was carpeted with starfish, the whole beach. There was a little boy, maybe 9, 10 or so, on the beach, picking up starfishes and throwing them into the water. Pick it up, throwing them, he'd walk a little bit further, pick one up, throwing them out, and doing his job, this futile, overwhelmed job. And a wiser, older man was taking his morning walk, saw the boy, and came up to him and said, young man, have you looked at the beach? Look at the millions that way and look at the millions that way. There is no way that you're going to make a difference in this situation. Little boy didn't say a word. He bent down, grabbed a starfish, and flung it as far as he could. Splashed in the water. He looked at the man and he said, I made a difference to that one. The AIDS worker said, that really helps. I can take that to heart, because I can drive past all the children that are hurting, but when I get to my orphanage, I can make a difference to this one.